When the animals of Manor Farm dream of freedom, they imagine a world without whips, hunger, or masters. They dream of equality. They dream of justice. That dream in George Orwell's Animal Farm begins as a song of hope and ends as a whisper of betrayal. It looks simple on the surface, a farmyard rebellion, but behind its fences lies a sharp mirror to human history. Orwell wrote this fable during the Second World War, when propaganda ruled nations, and truth was often edited to fit the needs of power. He was not a cynic, nor an enemy of equality. In fact, Orwell described himself as a democratic socialist, a man who believed that society could be just and human. But he had seen enough revolutions to know that idealism, left unguarded, can become tyranny. In 1936, Orwell went to Spain to fight in the Spanish Civil War, joining the POUM, the Partido Obrero de Unificación Marxista, a Marxist and anti-Stalinist militia that stood against fascism. What he found instead were betrayals, purges, and factional struggles within the very revolution he believed in. That experience, and the totalitarianism of the 1930s and 40s, shaped his writings. Animal Farm, published in 1945, was his warning that power corrupts not because people are evil, but because people forget. The story begins on Manor Farm, where the careless, drunken farmer Mr. Jones neglects his animals. They work long hours, receive little food, and live in quiet misery. One night, a wise old pig named Old Major calls them together and tells them of a dream: a farm ruled by animals, free of human cruelty, where all are equal. He teaches them a song called "Bees of England", an anthem of hope and defiance. His words ignite something deep inside them. Soon after, old Major dies, but his message survives. Two pigs, Snowball and Napoleon, rise to leadership. They develop the philosophy of animalism, built on seven commandments, promising equality, unity, and shared labor. Inspired and united, the animal revolt. They drive out Mr. Jones and rename the farm Animal Farm. For a while the dream feels real. The animals work together, share equally, and believe they have built paradise. But the paradise is fragile. Snowball is intelligent and idealistic, a believer in progress. Napoleon is silent, cunning, and ambitious. Their rivalry grows, and when Snowball proposes the construction of a windmill to ease their labor, Napoleon sees an opportunity. He trains a litter of dogs in secret and at the right moment uses them to chase Snowball from the farm. From that day, Napoleon becomes the supreme leader, and the dream of equality begins to crack. At first, the animals hardly notice the changes. The pigs claim small privileges, saying they need milk and apples to think properly. The squire, Napoleon's silver-tongued spokesman, becomes the farm's official voice. He rewrites commandments, distorts facts, and convinces everyone that every sacrifice is for the good of the farm. The animals, exhausted and naive, accept each new lie as truth. Slowly, the commandments change. No animal shall sleep in a bed becomes no animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets. No animal shall drink alcohol becomes no animal shall drink alcohol to excess. And finally, all animals are equal becomes all animals are equals, but some animals are more equal than others. By the time anyone notices, it is too late. The revolution has eaten its own children's. Boxer, the strong and loyal horse, became the heart of the farm. His motto, "I will work harder," captures the faith of ordinary workers everywhere. Those who believe that effort alone can fix injustice. But Boxer's loyalty becomes his undoing. When he collapses, injured and old, Napoleon sails him to a glue factory. The animals are told he died peacefully, but the reader knows the truth. The most faithful servant of the revolution has been sacrificed for profit. Years pass. The pigs learn to walk on two legs. They drink, smoke, and deal with human farmers. The farm grows richer, but the other animals remain hungry and tired. When the pigs finally host a banquet for human guests, the other animals look through the window and realize they can no longer tell the difference between pig and man. That final image, one species becoming another, is Orwell's quiet masterpiece. It is the moment when power completes its cycle, and the revolution dies in laughter and drink. But Animal Farm is not about Russia or Stalin. It is about human nature itself. Orwell was writing about the Soviet Union. Old Major was Marx and Lenin. Snowball was Trotsky. Napoleon was Stalin. But his insight stretches far beyond politics. He was writing about how ideals decay when they lose their moral center, about how language becomes a weapon, and how truth itself can be rewritten by those in control. Power, Orwell reminds us, is not a means, it is an end. His warning is timeless. Whenever power stops serving truth, it begins serving itself. The book's history after Orwell's death adds another layer of irony. In 1954, a British studio released an animated film of Animal Farm. It was secretly funded by the CIA as part of a Cold War propaganda campaign. The agency wanted to use Orwell's story to discredit communism, and so they changed the ending. In Orwell's original book, the animals are left broken, watching pigs and man merge into one corrupt ruling class. In the CIA-backed film, the animals rise up again and overthrow the pigs, a neat, patriotic ending Orwell never wrote. The very story that warned against political manipulation was itself manipulated for political use. The revolution had been edited, this time by Hollywood and Washington. In the decades that followed, Animal Farm became required reading in American high schools, often taught as a simple anti-communist allegory. But that interpretation misses Orwell's deeper message. He wasn't attacking socialism itself, he was warning about the betrayal of socialism by authoritarian leaders. He believed that justice requires honesty, and that freedom dies first in language, then in consciousness. When words lose meaning, people lose memory, and without memory, any tyranny can return. The beauty of Orwell's writing is that it keeps expanding. His little farm stretches across the world. Every society that begins with ideals and ends with hypocrisy walks through the same gate. In Pakistan, the dream of independence was born in the name of Islam, yet over time, power gathered in the hand of a few, first the political elite, then the military, each claiming to defend the nation while silencing dissent. In India, the democracy of visionaries like Nehru sometimes bend under the weight of corruption. In the United States and Europe, power hides in subtler forms, in wealth, media, and influence. The pigs of Orwell's world return whenever real power becomes unaccountable. The moral of Animal Farm is that revolutions fail not because they start wrong, but because people stop questioning once they win. The story is a parable of moral sleep. When the oppressed rise, they must remain awake, or risk becoming the new oppressor. As Orwell once said, to see what is in front of one's nose needs a constant struggle. The battle for truth is not fought once, it is fought daily, in classrooms, in newsrooms, in the word we choose and the lies we tolerate. In its final pages, Animal Farm leaves us staring through that farmhouse window with the animals. The laughter inside grows louder, the light flickers, the faces of pigs and men blend until they are one. The rebellion that began with songs ends with silence. And yet, beneath that silence, Orwell leaves both a warning and a hope. The warning that freedom without vigilance will always decay. The hope that readers, seeing it happen, might choose differently. Animal Farm is not about animals, it is about us. It tells us that power without conscience is violence, that equality without truth is a lie, and that every generation which earns its freedom again. It asks each listener a question that has no comfortable answer. Have we become what we once opposed?